Hi and welcome or welcome back to my channel. I'm Simon and today I'm back to have a chat with you about the fact that it's almost autumn. Autumn is incoming and autumn is one of my favourite, well no, it is my favourite season and my favourite time of the year. And I don't know what it is about autumn, but I just feel the most me, which sounds possibly a little bit bonkers, but it's true. And so I thought I'd have a catch up with you about things that are coming up in autumn, and also, like the seasons changing, things are changing for me quite a bit during autumn. So I thought we could have a chat about that. I've made notes in an autumnal colour. I've tried to wear the most autumnal thing I could that wasn't a jumper, because despite it being early September and me being so ready for jumpers and it's been a bit cold and whatever, we've suddenly decided to have an absolute heat wave for a few days. But we'll run with it, we'll go with it. T-shirts can be autumnal, we'll go with that. So what I thought I would do is start off with some of the life changes that I've got coming up. That sounds very grandiose, doesn't it? Oh, life changes. But there are a few. And there's two pretty big ones. One that I can't really talk to you about yet too much, other than to say that I have got a new job and I'll be starting it. Well, I've already sort of started it, but there's going to be a proper announcement later in September. So apologies that I can't say more. But just bear that in mind with the context of talking about things that are happening and other changes that will be going on. I'm super duper excited. It's something that I can't quite believe is happening. I'm still going to be staying at libraries connected because I'm there 2 days a week, and this is another part-time job. It's another part-time job. I can't say any more than that, and I won't, and I shan't, and you can't make me. Oh, I've got these tucked in. What's going on? I look a right silly sausage. Well, more of a silly sausage than normal. A striped silly sausage, if we're honest. Anyway, tangent. So that is one of the big changes that's coming up. New job, new things. Very, very, very exciting though. It doesn't really kick in properly until sort of, well, planning and plotting and making stuff happen is going on now for later in the year, and then it'll go into sort of more, not overdrive exactly, but there'll be no, stop it. Don't make me. You can't. You mustn't. I hope that wasn't Oscar. He's been fighting with quite a few cats recently. Anyway, so that was the first thing. Go back to my notes. In my autumnal notage colour. So the second big change that's happening and starts this very week is that I am going to be going back to college. I'm really, really excited, but really, really nervous because I have not studied anything for 25 years. I left school not long into my A-levels. I wasn't really feeling it. I wasn't really a big fan of school, to be honest. I was bullied quite a lot and it just wasn't my favourite place. I was a bit of a, not an outsider, I was one of those kids that kind of got on with everyone, and had like a core group of friends, but just, I don't know, I always felt a bit on the periphery and was quite badly bullied for being gay. So there we go. Anyway, this is not a bring out your violins video. This is just me saying I wasn't in the best place of education, so I didn't do as much as maybe I would have liked. Although at the time I didn't really notice it, and I have to say I was going to do a post on this when GCSE and A-level results went out, that like I didn't get the best GCSEs and I didn't finish my A-levels, and yet I've done all right, kind of. So, bear that in mind if any of you are watching this who are of that age. I know that I'm an old man in your eyes, but honestly, like, it isn't the be-all and end-all, and other things happen and life goes on. There was that. But going back to what I was saying, I'm really, really, really excited, but also super duper nervous. It's something that I've been wanting to do for quite a while, and I don't know if I can, I'll say what I'm studying. I was umming and ahhing about it then. I'm going to be studying British Sign Language. It's 1 day a week from now until December, and then if I pass my first test and if I want to carry on, it's then from January to June, level 2, and then I can do level 3 and 4 the following year. So that's what's going on with Big Life Changes. I mean, obviously, one of the key things about it all is that I am picking stationery very, very carefully, but also, and I should have brought it over with me, but I haven't got it here. I've got other things, and I've got books mainly actually, and my autumnal shaded notebook. I have got a new planner, and I'm really trying to get into scheduling and sort of planning a lot more, hence a planner. But yes, that's going on. And in that line of discussion, thought, I was going to say questioning, but nobody's actually questioning me, but we might talk about Q&As later. It's really hard having notes there. I kind of want them there, but then I'd just be doing that all the time. And this is not a video that I'm going to edit. I think it's been interesting. I've done a few videos recently where I haven't edited them, and they seem to have had a better response. Whereas like sometimes if I go black and white on the bits that I think are a tiny bit boring but still want to leave in, or zoom in when I'm being daft and zoom in when I carry on being daft, people like that. But I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. Do you prefer an edited video highlighting those things, or do you just prefer me to be chatting away with no edits whatsoever and no cuts? Anyway, so going forward, scheduling, what does that mean for the channel? Well, I'm planning on going forward. I feel like I'm having sort of a phased return because I have been off for a bit, which I guess I should address. I have been struggling with my sinuses since January, and finally had the thing where they go in and have a look. I don't really want to talk about it. It wasn't particularly pleasant. You don't need to hear the ins and outs of it. And I'm waiting to hear what that says and maybe have some more tests and stuff, and then we'll see what happens. So there we go. I don't need, but thank you if you're thinking of it, any sinus information or I was going to say old wives' tales. I don't mean that, but like any advice or anything like that, because obviously the doctor's doing their thing and I'm going to let them carry on doing their thing. But going back to what I was saying, so I'm having sort of a phased return in the fact that I'm coming back with 2 videos a week, although that was what I was doing predominantly the first half of the year. I used to do 3, and at one point I'm sure I did 4 a week, which was just frankly excessive and tiring, and I was doing that with a full-time job and other stuff. Mad. So what I was thinking was initially was doing Wednesdays and Sundays. However, Mum does her videos on Wednesdays generally as a rule, and I kind of don't want it to look like the savages are competing, because we're not. We're both just doing our thing and sometimes doing that lovely booktubey thing together, and we will be doing some exciting stuff I think this autumn. But what was I saying? I've gone off on one of my own tangents and confused myself. Yes, so what I'm thinking of doing is Thursdays and Sundays, and that also means that if I've for any reason got extra stuff to say, or a random video by whim seems to be like apt, I can then whack something on Tuesday, and that feels like a nice way of doing things. Doing lots of things with my hands. Apparently this is good for sign language. I was worried it could be a bit like, oh, I already do all that stuff anyway, and it could be confusing because I could get into the habits of doing stuff, but I've been told not to worry about that. And again, no thoughts and comments on that. Let me just see how I get on. But I will report back on how I get on. So yeah, so that's the plan, and I do have loads of video ideas coming up, but some things that I was thinking about were, speaking of questions as I did earlier in line of questioning, would you like me to do a Q&A? Maybe once my new job has been announced, because I can talk about that too, but also I'll have been going to, I'll have had a few weeks of college and can maybe talk about that and how that's going, but also just other stuff that you might like to know. If you'd like that, let me know. And I was thinking it would be quite fun to do some lives again, some on my own maybe, like that Q&A. It could be a live Q&A, or even some with guests, because there are some booktubers that I would love to do some videos with, and I have talked about it, but we're not in the same country, or our diaries might not work, whatever. So yeah, I was thinking that collabs would be fab to bring back in all sorts of ways, and Pip and I are filming our, oh, hang on, I've got it right in front of me. Ooh. That could have been awkward if I'd fallen off my chair. Pip and I will be filming our thoughts on the first book in the Return of Crime Time together. I'll link the video. We chatted about that before if you're new and you haven't seen me and Pip chatting before. We're reading Velvet Was the Night by Silvia Moreno Garcia. Well, I've already read this actually. And we'll be filming that on the weekend of the, no, is it the 16th of September or the 17th of September or the 17th and the 18th of September. Anyway, that weekend we will be filming together. So yeah, I'll probably put a post on Instagram if you've got any questions about that. Yeah, so if you're not following me on Instagram already, because that's also probably where I'll put out a question box for Q&A questions too, if you would like me to do that at some point. So yeah, Instagram always below. Now that's two of the things that I was thinking, oh, I used to do those. Would it be nice to bring those back together? Because lives I used to do, I think, regularly-ish for a bit, mainly during the Panny D, if we're honest. So there's that. Vlogs will be returning from October, with the exception of if you are one of my Patreons and you are in the weekly Savage Shenanigans tier, throughout September, those videos every Friday are always going to be vlogs while I try a few things out and ask for your lovely feedback if you're one of those lovely folk. If you're not, do not worry, there's still going to be those 2 videos a week. That said, if you would like to join my Patreon, feel free. I've actually done a video that will go live just after this one on my channel over on Patreon, where I'm talking about what the schedules are for videos there, because in different tiers you get different extra videos throughout the month at different points. There's book club the first Wednesday of every month if you're in that tier, and with me having this new job plus my current job plus studying, I just want to make sure that like everything's scheduled and stuff, because what I'm trying to do, which is a really, really big thing for me, is not film anything at weekends and have weekends off, possibly doing homework, slash I meant to do that, off slash possibly doing homework. So there's that. So the reason I thought I'd do vlogs from October as well was because things get a little bit busier in September. Well, clearly with all that I told you about, but then travel wise it gets a bit more bonkers in October and November as it's festival season, and I'll be doing quite a few events plus some other travels for things at the beginning of November. Another secret thing I can't tell you about yet, but hopefully we'll be able to soon, is quite a big initiative involving heading to lots of libraries in a very short space of time. And that's all I can say. But yeah, that's something that I'm really, really looking forward to. But events-wise, I thought I would mention them. So I've mentioned that Pip and I will be doing this at some point in September, although that's a channel thing more than an event thing. But if you want to read this in advance, join in with the conversation. Like I said, we'll be talking that weekend in September. 2 weekends' time, I want to say. Then on Sunday, which will be the 10th of September, I'll be in conversation with Sara Pascoe about her debut novel, Weirdo. We're going to be at Storyhouse in Chester, and we'll also possibly be talking about her fabulous new Bookish podcast that she's doing, and also her 2 previous books, the non-fiction, and just bookish, chattish loveliness in general. I'm really, really looking forward to that event. Then on the 26th of September, which I think is a Tuesday, I will be doing an event with Julie Owen Moylan for her second novel, 73 Dove Street, which I've heard amazing things about recently, actually from lovely Kate at Harris and Harris. Harris and Harris will also be something I'll talk about that in a minute. And also, actually, I saw Kate rave about this too. I'll be talking about another Kate Sawyer's This Family, which is her second novel. I loved The Stranding, which is her first. I haven't read Julie Owen Moylan's first novel. Should I? Let me know that in the comments down below too. Then, that's September. In October, I begin what is sort of a mini tour of the North with Melanie Sykes, my friend Melanie Sykes, to talk about her memoir Illuminated. We're going to be at Liverpool Literature Festival on Sunday the 8th of October. We will be at Durham Festival on Sunday the 15th of October, and then we'll be at Chester Literature Festival on, so Liverpool on Sunday the 8th of October, Durham on Sunday the 15th of October, and then on Saturday the 18th of November we'll be at Chester Literature Festival. Wow. Also at Durham, the day before, I will be chatting to the lovely Sheena Patel, who wrote I'm a Fan, which I absolutely loved last year, and Zhang, who's The Land of Milk and Honey. I read not last month, the month before, and really, really enjoyed that too. Very excited for this conversation. That's on Saturday, the 14th of October. And then on Sunday, the 19th of November, I'll put all these down below, I'll be doing an event with my good friend Andy Oliver about the Pepper Pot Diaries. Again, at Chester Literature Festival. I may also be doing some more events at Chester Literature Festival. They just haven't been announced yet. So I'll keep you updated on those things over on Instagram and here when I kind of want to remember. I'm already to remember with these two because I haven't read them yet, and this one because I haven't talked about it yet. So there we go. So that's some events coming up. And then I'm planning on not really doing any events in December, apart from hopefully, fingers crossed, Mum and I will be doing something lovely and festive and fabulous at Harris and Harris Books. Dates and details TBC, but it's in the works. I'm very excited. So that is what is coming up. In terms of my plans for reading, August has been such, or was, because it's now September, August was such a lovely month because I pretty much read by whim the whole month and just absolutely loved doing that. When I did try and read for certain things, it was a bit hiccupy, but I'll talk about that in a wrap-up coming very soon because my wrap-ups have been shoddy, to say the least. I did a bumper one recently of May, June and July, and then I've got August coming in a video or three. So yeah, that's coming up ahead. Lots of you have been asking if Mum and I are going to be reading the Bookish shortlist. The answer at the moment is maybe, possibly, we'll see. It depends what the shortlist is and how excited we are both about it, because as I've just mentioned, it's quite a bonkers busy time for me. It's also a busy time for Mum for all sorts of reasons. So we'll see. We're definitely going to do the Women's Prize next year and possibly the Women's Prize non-fiction shortlist next year. So the Women's Prize for fiction long list and the Women's Prize for non-fiction shortlist. But I don't know about the Booker. I've just heard such mixed things about it as well. Like, there sounds like there's maybe 5 or 6 absolute corkers in that 13, but a lot of them sound blinking miserable, quite hard work and a bit baffling. That seems to be the vibe that I'm getting. So yeah, what I would really like to do is just carry on reading by whim, maybe doing the occasional themed reading vlog and stuff. And actually, speaking of vlogs, one thing I was going to ask for, is there any sort of autumnal content or activities that you'd like to see me doing in the autumn? I'm not going to do Vlogmas this year. Well, I'll do Christmassy things within the vlogs that I do, but I'm not planning on doing Vlogmas per se. I was thinking about this, I was looking at Vlogmas, I did that quite a while ago, and I'm wondering whether I should sort of archive, so like how many years of Savage Reads videos should I leave out there? Like, I don't know, I feel like maybe I need to archive a few. I don't know why I've started to think about that, but I have just over the last few weeks. So that's that. Oh, and then I suppose the other reading that I will sort of be beginning on is my 2024 reading over the autumn. I've already had quite a lot of books and there are some really exciting ones coming out next year. And because of my new role, sorry to be a tease again, I would like to, excuse me, I had a fizzy pop before recording this. No cup of tea. It's too blinking hot. And I know people say that cups of tea cool your internal organisms. I said orgasms. Cool your internal organs. But that's a bit of one of those, what I mentioned earlier, old wives' tales. So anyway, yeah, I'll start to read 2024 books. Not as in the number, I always feel weird to say. I'll start to read books that are coming out in 2024 over the forthcoming months. So I hope you'll enjoy seeing that. But if there's any theme blogs you'd like to see, let me know in the comments down below. So yeah, the questions that I had were, I had a few. Yeah, what would you like to see? Would you like to see some Q&A? Would you like to see a Q&A, not some? Would you like to see a Q&A? Sounds weird when you say it too many times. Would you like to see a Q&A and possibly a live or some lives? What any autumnal content you'd like to see or activities you'd like to go and see me do, anything you'd like to see in vlogs when I start doing those on here. But like I said, if you want to join Patreon, I'll be doing them on the weekly Savage Shenanigans tier for the whole of September. And anything else at all, let me know in the comments down below where we can carry on chatting. As always, it's lovely to have a catch up with you. Sorry I've been a bit sporadic. Delighted to be in my phased return. And yeah, it's an exciting season ahead, and every time I think about going back to college, I'm just getting these weird nervy bubbles which could be quite awkward on the day. But yeah, anything else you'd like to have a chat about in the comments below, let's do that, and I will see you in another video very soon. If you want more content, like I've mentioned, there's Patreon, there's Instagram, there's Threads, there's X, which I don't really use anymore, and Savage Snapshots will be coming back in the autumn, because actually on Patreon I might put them live there for my, ironically or not ironically, called Snapshots tier a day or two early, but that's a whole other thing. Anyway, I would also love, actually, before I go, to hear from you what autumnal books you would recommend, because I'm always on the look for those. But yeah, like I said, what would you like to see on the channel coming up? Would you like a Q&A? Would you like some lives? Any autumnal content or activities, that was Millie sneezing, let me know. And anything you'd like to see in vlogs, and anything else and everything else in the comments down below. I will see you all very, very soon. Bye.